As I said in my previous video, I said I'd talk about my time at SPU and the times that led up to me picking SPU as my school. I have a little outline on my laptop right here of what I'm going to be talking about. So I guess I start with when I was picking SPU. I never heard of SPU before doing any of my research at all. I didn't even know I had cousins. I went to the university as well. But my sophomore year of high school, my mom told me that we should go to this college fair. It's at your high school. And so I decided to go with my mom, and we had a few questions lined up for all the university. The biggest question that was asked amongst every single university is, do you accept all AP credits? Every single university said, we accept all AP credits except for SPU. The undergrad admissions counselor, his name was Tony Neighbors, he told me that no, we don't accept all AP credits. And we talked more, and he's being super honest. That's probably something that a lot of the universities weren't doing at the time. So it caught my attention, and as the years come closer to applying, I had a mission trip to Honduras before my senior year of high school started, and it was a great experience. I helped out in an orphanage, helping kids with daily chores, utilizing my Spanish, and playing soccer with them. The crazy part is when I'm on my way back and I have a layover in Houston, and I'm sitting there at the terminal waiting for the plane to get there. And I talked to this older lady, and I forgot the topic that we were talking about at the time, but it led to us talking about schools. And she goes, do you know where you want to go? I had considered at the time PLU, Central, and Seattle Pacific University. She goes, okay, my son actually works at SPU. Let me go get him. The guy I met, his name's Nate Moutet, and he's the he's the VP for admissions enrollment. And it's kind of like, okay, I think I'm meant to go to this university. So I do the early admission. I applied in October, November, and I find out 2 days before Christmas that I get accepted. And that was extremely awesome. And then I go do my senior preview night, where I spend the night on campus and I get to experience what it's like to be in a day in the life of a SPU student. A few weeks before that, my dad had gotten laid off from his job. So we asked a question about FAFSA and reapplying. They said, reapply and we'll see what we can do. A few weeks later, they updated my finance plan, and it relieved so much stress from my family. It was unreal, and we were very grateful for that. That's just a little preview of what led me to come to SPU. Now I can talk about my years at SPU. One thing I had forgotten to mention is that I was a direct admit into my major. I am a financial economics major, and that was like a huge bonus for me when it came to picking Seattle Pacific University. I had no idea what to expect, other than I'm expecting a super tight-knit group that I'll form at SPU, and that's something that happened right away with my floor. I lived in Sixth Hill, and that was one of the best experiences ever. Floor activities, which I won't talk about, you either have to experience it for yourself or you have to hear about it from your friends that you make at SPU. But they were all awesome, great times with the people that were my class, my graduating class or my year, and as well as with the upperclassmen as well that were in there. I'll go down by quarters for each year in terms of what happened. Fall quarter, I was I had to take a writing class, a microeconomics class, and then I threw in extra for Spanish just because I was already good at Spanish. Microeconomics was awesome. I had Doug Downey, who retired after my sophomore year and was awesome. He has a unique teaching style that opened my eyes to economics. And then I had a writing class. It was super basic in terms of here's how you analyze a paper and write it out. And it was super fun. It was on fairy tales, and we got to analyze and figure out like how we want to write and orient our papers. It was super fun and super cool. The following quarter, winter quarter, was probably my favorite quarter amongst all the quarters at my time at SPU. And it's probably with one of my favorite professors outside my major. I had to take a research writing class, and these writing classes vary depending on the professor you have. So it could be poli-sci, music, engineering. The topics vary from every professor. I had Jeffrey Overstreet, who is an English, or teaches English at the university, and our topic was on movies. I had no idea what to expect from the movies, and sure enough, I fell in love with the class. It was one of the most fun classes I had, and probably produced one of the best papers I've had in that class as well. Spring quarter, I didn't do any classes related to my major because I wanted to make sure that I got all my ways of knowing credits out of the way. So my sciences, my maths, my arts, all those credits out of the way. And I took my first Christian-based class that quarter as well, which is UConn 1000, the intro to Christianity basically. And I took biological fundamentals and visual literacy. During that time, around the beginning of spring quarter, I'd learned about the Student Investment Fund. And that's where I got interested, and I applied to be part of the club. And I get accepted, and I get to meet all these awesome people that are connected through the investment fund, both current students and graduates as well. It's amazing what the fund has been doing, and I'll be talking more about it later. Sophomore year was probably one of the more interesting years for me. One of the biggest highlights is that I was asked to be co-president for the Student Investment Fund. And I kind of was shocked. I was like, wow, you want me to be co-president? And they told me that. I'm very driven and hardworking, and that really surprised me. But I was very grateful for the opportunity as well. It was probably one of the more challenging years, sophomore year, in terms of I'm deeper into my major now, and now I gotta crank things up a notch. So fall quarter was heavily major focus. I took purpose and practice of business, financial accounting, and UCOR 2000. Financial accounting, I think you're going to hear from everyone, is a tough course to take. I had a very poor start at the beginning, but then kicked it up a notch, and I ended up with a good enough grade to get through with financial accounting. I also had an awesome social studies prof. I'm required to take that as well, and it was Dr. Ruth Ediger, who came with the right amount of energy to make class entertaining and interesting. One of the more fun classes I've taken as well. Winter quarter, I had one class only required to take, and that was stats, but my other class that I had was economics based on climate change. And I had 3 different profs teach it: an econ prof, a business prof, and a poli-sci prof. The econ prof was Jen Meredith, who no longer works at SPU right now, Dr. Davis, who teaches the poli-sci section. I don't remember the business prof. Dr. Franz teaches the business section. And so it was super interesting, and we got to do a presentation in terms of how we think climate change should be handled from an economics perspective, either the poli-sci, business, or econ part. Hoping to get that class back at SPU for them to teach it, as they no longer teach it right now. Spring quarter is where I found my hobbies. I took a dance class, and started to learn more types of dances, as I'll say later on. I eventually learned swing dance, pop, hip hop. I'm not the best at it, but at least I look like I know what I'm doing. Spring quarter wasn't really that much in terms of classes. It was a fun time to be outside, socialize with friends, and various other parts as well. Junior year was another tough year as well in terms of school. The two biggest highlights I had is that they asked me to be co-president for Student Investment Fund one more year, so senior year would be my last year as co-president, and then I started getting swing dancing through some friends, and it's been an activity that I can't wait to get back into once this quarantine stuff is done. Fall quarter was probably one of the hardest quarters I've ever had. I had a business finance, internship, career strategies, money banking, and quantitative methods for decision making. Two of those classes I had the same prof, and his name is Dr. Richard Dancy. One of the best profs I've ever had at SPU, and if you do get to take him, he will be very challenging, but he's a great professor and he makes you think a lot in that class. I had winter quarter investments, Econ 3100, and intermediate microeconomics. All the profs I've had in terms of my major have been awesome. Investments I had with Dr. Dan Hess, who just retired last year, and intermediate microeconomics I had Dr. Howe, and Dr. Howe, who was just hired last year. Another awesome choice that they picked. One of the best profs as well that I've had there. Spring quarter, I had International Business UCore 3000 and Marketing and Society. Nothing too much of those classes. None of those are econ profs I had, so nothing too crazy outside of that. Senior year, the year that I'm in right now, in the middle of my spring quarter, probably go down as the most memorable year. It's kind of cheesy that senior year is the most memorable year, but I lived on campus all 4 years, and the roommates I had my last year were awesome. They got me into so many new things to do, whether it was board game nights at our apartment, or one of my roommates and his now fiance introduced me to rock climbing. And that's one of the best investments that I've made, and that was like super awesome. To go over fall quarter, I took business ethics, operations management, and legal environment of business. Business ethics was fun, even though people consider it a boring class because there's so many readings that you have to do. The prof I had was awesome, and his name is Dr. Keeman Wong. He made you think a lot in terms of class discussions and how to look at a third view. It's how not all issues are black and white. I had him again winter quarter in inclusive financial services, talking about microfinance, microinsurance, various other products that helps the poor for finance, and they're all very awesome profs that I've had. This quarter I'm in my capstone and my intermediate macro econ class. Two probably the toughest courses I'll probably have, as I'm in the middle of my capstone paper right now. But everything goes smooth right now. Everything's going great. The profs have been awesome during these interesting times with Zoom calls, keeping up to date with how everyone's doing, and even helping along the way. I had a call with one of my profs, Dr. Jerry Mason, and she helped me get an idea of how to go about with my essay that I'm working on right now. So this has been my experience at SPU, and I hope that you've either learned more about my time at SPU, considering SPU, or just want to hear my story and now you learn about my story at SPU.